All right. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, or evening, wherever you are. My name is Tad Stevens, and I am the director at cpethink.com. Today, we're going to talk with Jeff Bourgeois about AI. But before we do that, a few housekeeping items. To get credit for the webinar, you need to stay the whole time. You need to answer the 3 polling questions that we're going to present periodically, and they're just going to pop up randomly. So just answer them, and they'll dismiss out of your way. To get your certificate for the final exam, you will need to go to your My Courses page, and the Take Exam icons and link will appear within 30 minutes after the webinar. Just click on Take Exam, take the 1 question exam saying, hey, I was here, grade it, save it, or grade it, and imprint it if you want, print the certificate if you want, but that's how you will be awarded the points and get your certificate of completion. So that's all I have. I'm going to be working the chat so Jeff can present, and we'll talk back and forth as we go. If you have any questions, let us know in the chat. And Jeff, it's all yours.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me, Tad. And for everybody that's watching today, this is not one of those lectures where you sit back quietly listening. If you have comments, ask them in context. I can't watch the chat and talk, but Tad, if there's anything in the chat, if anybody has any question, ask it in the moment, because by the end, you're not going to remember it. So today I want to share, this is an overview presentation on AI generally, and specifically ChatGPT. And what I'm going to show you today is some practical ways that accountants can actually leverage artificial intelligence intelligently. And I just want to stress something right up front before we jump in. A lot of people say AI is going to replace me. No, it's not. It will replace low-level repetitive jobs. It'll replace the things about our job that we hate. But think of it not as a threat to you, but think of it as an opportunity. And I grew up in the 70s, 80s, and I am a big fan of the old Steve Austin, the Bionic Man. And really, truly, if you think about AI, it's a bionic extension for your brain. It won't replace critical thinking. It won't replace professional judgment. It will augment it. So we're going to talk about streamlining workflow and enhancing client services. So as an introduction, my goal for you is you will understand the power of AI and how it can help you in your role in accounting. We'll talk about how you can implement it for research and summarization, and how you can use it to enhance client communications. So we'll leave room at the end for Q&A. This is going to be about a 50-minute presentation, and I'll leave about 10 minutes after that for Q&A if we have time. So basically, I'm going to jump right in, and let's talk about our agenda for today. So we're going to jump right in, and first things first, I'm going to give you an overview, and I'm going to be really honest. I grew up on the Terminator movies, and I was deeply worried that Skynet would be a thing. And when I first saw AI coming out, I started to think maybe we're not far off. But the reality is, whether AI is going to end humanity or not, it's because humanity programmed it to do so. But really, truly, AI is not a threat right now. It's a tool. So we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to talk about it a lot. Now, one thing I do talk about that makes people feel a little strange is I'm very polite with my AI, and I say please and thank you. And the reason I do that is it seems like I get better responses, but also for me personally, I have more fun because I'm being polite. So effectively, I'm talking to myself. If I'm not going to be nice and polite to myself, am I going to be polite to others? So AI is a really great tool to practice your human-to-human communication as well. All right, so let's jump right in and talk about what is AI, and then we'll go from there. So basically, artificial intelligence, it's just large language models, and basically where it has these superpowers is its ability to read a lot of data very quickly and then summarize it and give us some tips. Now, first things first, before we get into all the wonderful things of AI, I need to talk to you about what's called AI hallucinations. So every now and then, if you think about AI, it's an overworked, distracted assistant. And unless you say, hey, are you paying attention? Sometimes its mind wanders. And the part that is fascinating to me is it will give you a completely wrong answer with 100% certainty that it's right. I actually was working on writing an article, and all of a sudden it just started writing up and making up words. And at first I thought it was in the wrong language. And I said, could you translate that to English? And AI assured me it was English. And it went on to say, I said, okay, define the word and use it in a sentence. And it said, I am defining this word and using it in a sentence. Technically correct, but completely wrong. So here's the first thing I want you all to know is that AI amplifies what goes in. So if you don't know what you're doing, don't know what you're talking about, you put garbage in, you're going to get loud garbage out. Now, my goal for you, if you're intelligent, you are professionals, you know your stuff, brilliance in becomes amplified brilliance out. So I'll give you practical examples. I just want you to know that, I only use AI for topics that I'm familiar with, so that I can spot it and say, I think that's a bit of a hallucination. So the most popular AI, and if you think about it, ChatGPT reached more users in a week than what I think Facebook did in their first year. ChatGPT is by far the most popular AI model out there, and it's from a company called OpenAI. And just for everybody watching, if you go to I think it's chat.openai.com, you can sign up for a free account and you get access to ChatGPT version 3.5. It is really quick, really fast, really good at answering questions that don't require deep research or internet access. But if you're doing really complicated things, go for ChatGPT version 4. It's a paid one, and I think it's $20 US a month. I don't get a kickback, so there's no complications there. But to me, it is worth the $20 a month. And there's a version 5 coming out that's going to be even more spectacular. So let's talk a little bit about GPT and what it can do. And in the world of accounting in particular, it can understand and generate human-like text. And that enables it to assist in research, communication, and data analysis tasks. We'll go into some detail on those. But basically, as an accountant, if you're using AI tools, you can get greater efficiency, greater accuracy, and the ability to focus more on strategic and advisory roles rather than routine tasks. So one of my favorite things, I love using AI to create outlines for systems and processes for new value-added services. We do deep dives over the next 3 weeks, but today it's just high level so you understand welcome to the party of AI and what can we expect. Now, up front, I will say that there are obvious ethical considerations and limitations. So I want you to understand if you have complete, complex private data, you want to consider whether or not that should be put into the AI model, because AI by nature, it learns from your conversations and it shares that with the world. It's not going to say Jeff said this, but it becomes part of the collective data. So you want to make sure if you have very private data, or if you have clients who have privacy, like under HIPAA, for example, you want to be really careful what you put in. And I can't stress this enough. I'm going to say this at least one more time.